All right, good morning, everybody. I would like to call to order the Business Management Committee meeting on Thursday, July 23rd. It is 9:30 on the dot. So I'd like to start off with the approval of the minutes from the June 25th meeting. Can I get a motion and a second? Any questions or changes? If not, go to a vote. It's a little slow this morning. Haven't seen it. Ah, there we go. And the motion is passed. Just okay. All right, next up, we have a resolution authorizing a modification of contractual authorization for the sole source Microsoft Unified Support Services, RFPP P50507, and we have Ms. Nancy Joseph, who is going to be presenting.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning, Chair Galisa, Vice Chair Zagabe, Interim General Manager Mr. Hunt, Deputy General Manager Ms. Howland, and other members of the Business Management Committee. I'm Nancy Joseph, the Director of Technology Infrastructure and Production. I'm here to present the request for a resolution authorizing a modification and contractual authorization for the sole source Microsoft Unified Support Services, RFPP P50507. Okay. The Microsoft Azure Unified Support Services contracts support both cybersecurity and technology initiatives. This modification will bring significant enhancement to MARTA Microsoft Azure platform. Some of the key highlights are dedicated engineering support for infrastructure as a service by providing specialized technical assistance that will facilitate smoother cloud migration, ensuring minimal downtime and optimized performance. Improved security measures protecting our data and application with advanced threat protection and compliance support, reducing vulnerability to cyber threats. Access to additional training program, equipping our team with the skill needed to utilize Azure services and stay abreast of industry trend effectively. It also provides enhanced AI functionality, enable better analytics and machine learning, helping us gain deeper insight and improve decision making. Initiatives such as Copilot, which help users with drafting, editing documents, presentation, along with communication. We also have Power Apps that help build custom business application without the traditional programming. Databricks, which help process, store, analyze massive amount of data in one unified workspace. These enhancements will provide exceptional support and resources, empowering MARTA to achieve remarkable results and drive future success. Okay. The original contract awarded on May 9, 2024 was valued at $849,466 for a 3-year term. We are requesting additional funding of $193,012.06, which brings the total contract value to $1,042,478.06. The Department of Technology requests that the Business Management Committee recommends to the full board the approval of the resolution authorizing a modification and contractual authorization for the sole source Microsoft Unified Support Services, RFPP P50507. Thank you. I now return the floor back to you, Chair Galisa.
All right, thank you very much. Can I get a motion and a second? All right, and then I know I had some questions that I had sent earlier, but and then I'll open it up to the floor. So the contract term on this one, you said, is It was a total of 3 years, so we're paying the 193 incremental for the next 10 months.
The 193 is the additional amount to finish the remaining, the third year of the contract.
Third year of the contract, okay. And this is incremental functionality versus what we have today.
Yes.
Okay, and then the assumption is that if we renewed for another 3, that we would be paying a larger amount as well?
We initiated a 3-year contract. It will expire next year, May 30th. At that point, we will do a solicitation for a new contract for hopefully an additional 3 years to support our Microsoft platform.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions from the team? All right, great. If not, let's take it to a vote. The motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have resolution authorizing the award of a contract for Tanium Vulnerability Management Services utilizing the Federal Grant Services Administration contract, RFPP P600493. And Ms. Joseph,
Okay.
you still have the floor.
Okay, so Tanium Endpoint Management plays a vital role in keeping our IT environment secure, ensuring every device from laptop to mobile units is well protected, compliant, and highly productive. By continuously patching, monitoring, and safeguarding device across the network, we help create a robust and resilient infrastructure. Tanium offers an integrated solution that provides full visibility and control, allows for better compliance with cybersecurity policies. Automated patch update, which reduce the exposure to vulnerability for MARTA, real-time incident response, enable faster investigation, ultimately limiting security risk. Risk and compliance support assist with ongoing audits and regulatory requirements, data protection capability, enforce security policies, and monitor access to sensitive data. The procurement of the Tanium Endpoint Management Platform not only protect MARTA's asset, but also significantly strengthen MARTA security posture, ensuring operational continuity. On June 25, 2026, the Department of Technology submitted a letter of intent to the MARTA Business Management Committee seeking to procure Tanium via the General Services Administration GSA contract for cloud-related services. This 3-year contract is funded with local capital funds. In conclusion, the Department of Technology requests that the Business Management Committee recommends to the full board the approval of the resolution authorizing the award of a contract for Tanium Vulnerability Management Services utilizing the Federal Services Administration GSA contract RFPP P600493 in the amount of $759,804.06. Thank you. I now return the floor back to you.
Great, thank you very much. If I could get a motion and a second. And then do we have any questions? I do not see any questions, so let's take it to a vote. And the motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, next up, we have a resolution authorizing the modification of contractual authorization for demand response transit software and equipment, RFP P50482. And Mr. Lopes, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Galitza, Vice Chair Zagabe, ICEO Hunt, DGM Allen, members of committee. This is a resolution authorizing modification and contractual authorization for the demand response transit software and equipment, RFP P50482. Bit of a background. This was the RideCo contract, and it was previously modified to allow for the temporary lease of 32 vans for reach service. The vans available for lease at the time were similar in scope to existing mobility L-type vans, the one illustrated here. The 32 leased vehicles were a replacement for the 35 Sprinter-type vans that we had originally purchased for reach, but we were unable to deploy and deliver for service due to a factory recall. The original 35 vans, Sprinter types, have now been serviced. The factory recall has been resolved. They have been delivered to MARTA. They are being, we're finishing fitting them for service and expect to have them in service by the fall. As a consequence, the leased vehicles, the 32 L-type vans, are now available for purchase at a discount and retrofit for deployment within mobility. The purchase and retrofit costs for the 32 vehicles is estimated at $4.858896 using GSA contract and values. The procurement considerations are such that the current contract value is $11,101,990.07. As mentioned, fitting, purchasing, and deploying the 32 vehicles will require an additional $4,858,896, bringing the new contract value up to $15,960,886.07. The 32 vehicles are going to be used, one, to ensure reliability of service, so they will be used to replace some of our older models and older vehicles in fleet, and as well augment our vehicle fleet numbers as much as we can to meet ever-increasing demand. This is in addition to the other earlier resolution of nearly $9 million for the same programmatic approach of replacing and upgrading the fleet, again, to bring up our numbers to meet demand, and also to improve reliability by retiring vehicles that are beyond their useful life. With that, bring the board's request to the Department of Mechanical Operations, requests the Business Management Committee recommend to the full board the approval of a modification and contractual authorization for demand response transit software and equipment, RFP P50482, increasing the maximum contract value to $15,960,886.07. Ready to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much. Can I get a motion and a second, please? And then, looks like Frida, you have a question.
It's simple. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but all of these purchases were included in the budget that we just approved for this coming year, right? So we're not asking outside the budget?
No, we're not asking outside the budget. All of these are drawing from sources that were within the budget.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, and Mr. Frierson.
Yes, the original 32 vans that we got that we had to get because the other ones were not available. Didn't we retrofit those? Because we're using those, aren't we?
We are currently using them, and that is a valid question. We, because they were leased vehicles, we didn't implement the full retrofit.
Okay.
We weren't sure what the disposition of the 32 vehicles was going to be at the end of the lease period, and so we did minor modifications in preparation for the contingency that we may have to return them.
Okay.
And so now we are going to properly install the DVDs, the routers, the fare collection equipment, and the rest of the kit that we normally outfit a van for, which is why you're seeing that cost. So when we purchase them, now we can make the true and proper modifications in order to qualify them for mobility.
Okay, and so in these original 32 vans, I know we got those because the other ones wasn't available. You say, are they pretty similar to the Sprinter types that we got, or what is the big difference between the two?
So these, there's the L-type vans, which are a little bit bigger than these.
Okay.
So these are similar to the L-type vans, but instead of being on a bigger body, they're on a smaller van-type body. So their dimensions is a little smaller than our traditional L-type vans, but they are different because of, the approach is a cutaway. They're different to the Sprinter-type vans that you're now seeing for Reach, for example.
Okay, and these also have for one wheelchair, is that right?
I believe these are for two.
Oh,
Plus,
those are two.
yeah, these are for two. The Sprinter types that we're doing for Reach are minimum one.
For one, okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you, and Mr. Zagabe.
Thank you. Just two questions. One, I believe, I'm not sure if we did, but I believe that we started to commingle paratransit with Reach because the software allowed us to. I thought that was like a goal of it, is to be able to leverage the Reach vehicles with paratransit. My question here is just like, as we're thinking about retrofitting them, is there anything we've learned from being able to use these vehicles as they are right now for paratransit that might inform, like, our full retrofit build out? Is it needed? And might we go lighter or change how we set these up based on, you know, the little bit of experience we've gotten with these vehicles already?
Yeah, that's a great question. In addition to the experience we've gotten with these vehicles, we're always assessing and looking at ridership demand and ridership uses of our current mobility vehicles. What we found is that approximately 96 to 98% of the time, all the rides we're delivering on a typical day consist of a maximum of 3 customers and a maximum of 1 wheelchair. Very rarely, 3%, 4% of all the rides we ever deliver are beyond 3 customers and beyond 1 wheelchair. So that gives us an opportunity to consider reconfiguring the fleet, optimizing operations, and getting our investment dollars to stretch a little further, because the cost per unit of the Sprinter type vehicles is a little less than the cost per unit of the Cutaway L type vans. So we are analyzing that. We're not going to make that decision on our own. We are going to listen to our customers. We are arranging, I think, a review with a few MAC committee members this week. Before we finalize anything, we're going to go through 3 or 4 options, take feedback, and then make our final decision. So we're moving quickly, but we're also taking time to listen to our customers and what they need.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I've long thought that, smaller vehicle types, just you can't aggregate that many people often, so that's good to hear. And then the only other question I had was fully supportive. I know this gets us a bunch of vehicles very quickly. I've looked at our maintenance on these and the breakdowns. How much of a discount are we getting by buying, I'm going to call them used. I know they've only been used by us, but is this truly a discount, or are you kind of paying market rate because you're getting 32 vehicles at once? Or just
No, we again, it's through the GSA contract, so our rates are fixed and they're set, so we have favorable rates that way. And we are realizing a discount. I'd have to confirm, but off the top of my head, I think it's around $80,000 per unit because they've been used.
Okay, that was the question. So GSA has rates that you can call used rather than just new.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I didn't realize. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Pond?
Paul, just for information, as far as the lifetime usage mileage, what do we typically have the lifetime of these vehicles?
So lifetime of these vehicles on our fleet, we're using, because of the high miles we put on them in any event, we're looking at a 5 to 7 year lifespan per vehicle. So when we purchase these vehicles today, you can expect within 5 to 7 years having to retire these. And that's why we've taken a programmatic approach now on the capital program. There is going to be successive years of investment. It's not just a one-time purchase. You're going to see roughly, I think, if we take a look at the capital program, about $9 million a year for turnover of the fleet moving forward.
Okay. And that would typically be how many miles in a year? For more or less?
Off the top of my head, I can get back to you on that. Off the top of my head, I don't have that, sorry. It's a jumble up there.
All right, thank you. And just out of curiosity, the average age of our fleet currently?
Average age of our fleet, all of the vehicles in mobility exceed the 5 to 7 year time span, with the exception of these if we buy them and the additional purchase that's been approved. So we're starting that turnover.
Great.
We, again, as mentioned, we may not necessarily replace all the vehicles. It's a question of how many vehicles can we consider to use that are going to be reliable to meet increasing demand at the same time as improving reliability.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I don't see any other questions, so if we could bring this to a vote. And the motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last resolution for today. We've got a resolution authorizing a non-exclusive revocable license agreement with Metro Access Transmission Services Corp. In the amount of $239,442.01 for continued operation of an underground fiber optic system, FOS, MARTA parcels D3223X, D2116X, D4179X, and D2118X in Fulton County. And Mr. Lopes, you've got the floor.
Thank you. I'll hop right into it. The first location, if you take a look at the display, is in Armour Yard. It's just at the southeast area of our property. It traverses Armour Yard. That is a render on a map. Second area is Joseph E. Boone in Atlanta. You can see that the fiber crosses our property on the track to Bankhead. That is the schematic showing exactly where the fiber has been laid. Third area is the in Abernathy. Again, it's right next to our property on the paint shop. The schematic details clearly where on our property the fiber has been laid. And the last area is at Westlake. Again, it's traversing our property on the bridge and makes contact with our right-of-way. Just give you a quick overview of the transaction. Metro Access Transmission Services has existing fiber across those areas through MARTA property at 4 separate locations that we've just covered since 2021 under a prior license agreement with MARTA. They wish to continue operations under a new license agreement on those 4 locations: Armour Yard, parcel D3223X, approximately 10,759 square feet. Joseph E. Boone location, MARTA parcel D2116X, about 508 square feet. Ralph D. Abernathy location, MARTA parcel D4179X, use of 120 square feet. And the Westlake location, MARTA parcel D2118X at 510 square feet. Structure and term of this transaction is a license agreement. It's a 5-year, non-exclusive, revocable. We've had an appraisal done. We've come back with a fair market valuation for use of these 4 parcels at $239,442.01. Bit of an acquisition history: Armour Yard, Joseph E. Boone, Abernathy, Westlake. Their acquisition costs are there. All were purchased with local funds. There is no FTA interest to consider in this transaction. With that, we request approval of the board and a resolution authorizing a non-exclusive revocable license agreement with Metro Access Transmission Services Corp. in the amount of $239,442.01 for continued operation of an underground fiber optic system at MARTA parcels D3223X, D2116X, D4179X, and D2118X, all in Fulton County, Atlanta. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Lopes. And looks like we have a motion and a second. So I will now see if there's any questions on this one. Seeing none, let's take it to a vote. And the motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then for other matters, we did have an update on the fiscal year 26 May consolidated financial results and KPIs for information only. And with that, there's no other matters.
I just have one question on the information only. I know it's just information, but on the May financials, I saw that there was a $10 million increase in worker comp reserve, and I just had 2 questions on that. It might be for Mr. Hurley, but just one: is that a one-time thing, or is there something we should be thinking about? Like, are we going to see more of that in the fiscal year? And then 2, as we think about the budget for the current fiscal year, do we feel well covered off on how we're thinking about workers' comp?
It is a periodic increase to that reserve. It happens, once a year, if that, if we don't have the reserve set up in a manner that would cover existing workers' comp. What this is telling us that is workers' comp has been higher than we've anticipated. So your question is appropriate, and we do have work to do on workers' comp. It's also driving absenteeism that's impacting the overtime. So it rolls into a lot of things that you're seeing on the financial highlights.
I feel like in a prior update, we got the feedback that the actuary said that we were in a statistical anomaly around workers' comp and where we're landing. So to see the reserve up again, it feels like we are continuously a statistical anomaly, which isn't how stats work, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we should talk more.
All right, great. If there's no other matters for the board, I will conclude the meeting at 9:55 a.m.
And it's been moved and second. Are there any discussions, questions? Seeing none, I'd like to ask that the committee members vote, please. Do I need to do anything with this? I don't need to do anything with it. We're good. The motion has passed. We'll move to our second agenda item, resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between Clayton County and MARTA for a program coordinator position, IGA A600518. Larry Prescott, AGM, Design and Engineering and Infrastructure. Mr. Prescott, the floor is yours.
Get this going. There we go. Good morning, Chair Hudson, IGM Hunt, DGM Allen, committee members, and gallery. Larry Prescott, the AGM of Design Engineering Infrastructure. I was here last month giving you the More MARTA Atlanta liaison update, and I'm moving south now with this resolution authorizing an execution of intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between MARTA and Clayton County for a program coordinator position, IGA 600518. So Clayton County back in 2020 authorized the 15th Amendment around the 1 cent sales tax to support the MARTA services in Clayton County. As the projects progressed in 2022, this IGA was awarded to allow a project coordinator to be the liaison between MARTA and Clayton County staff for these projects and the scope below. Clayton County selected a consultant, the collaborative firm, to represent them in this position. Invoices went to the county, and then these invoices were reimbursed for the MARTA Clayton County program funding. This liaison provided all the services by meeting with all the committee meetings, the board chair committee meetings, the zoning advisory meetings, the Citizens Advisory Committee meetings, as well as the project technical meetings and public outreach meetings. Unfortunately, this IGA expired last December, and the county has continued these services and wants to continue these services. So, therefore, bringing to you a new IGA, which will be the same scope. The only change will be the time frame and the compensation for that. Overall, this change will have the same 3-year, 2-year plan. The 3-year will be a $710,000 cost, and the 2 1-year extensions will be around a $530,000, giving a total of $1,221,104.44. Since they did continue work in January, the consultant did continue work because we didn't find out that the contract expired till the first invoice that came in the first quarter. We will have a ratification payment out of this total cost, back paying through January up until August after this resolution is hopefully approved. With that, the Department of Infrastructure requests that the Planning and Capital Programs Committee recommend to the full board authorization of this execution of an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between Clayton County and MARTA for a program coordinator position, IGA 600518, in the amount of $1,221,101.44. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Prescott. With that, I'd like to move for a motion to approve and second the agenda item. It has been so moved and accepted. I'd like to open the floor now for discussion and questions. Mr. Pond.
Larry, the county selects this individual, correct?
Correct.
Who does he report to? We've had this question before, but just to clarify.
Yeah, good question. Ms. Manning is here today, and she does report to me on the capital side, and she reports to the CEO at the county side and the deputy CEO.
And do we get to review the qualifications of these individuals? Do we have
When the
an
selection
approval process?
when the selection was made,
Do we get to approve the qualifications of the person providing this job we're paying for?
yes,
Okay, thank
yes,
you.
it was in collaboration with the county.
Thank you, Mr. Pond. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to ask.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Firestone.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Going back to this position that we're talking about, so they're managed by Clayton County, but they are in collaboration with MARTA in communicating these projects to?
Yes, sir. This is similar to the More Atlanta. More Atlanta had staff, actually. This is consultant staff that's on board, yes.
Okay, and so has this consultant staff, is it the same staff that's been during the last 3 years, or has it changed?
It has changed. The collaborative firm had a person doing this, and he did such a good job. He is now the DCEO, the Deputy Commission Chief Capital Officer.
Okay.
The county hired him away, and so his right hand, Vita, has taken over that position.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. CEO Hunt? No, good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to ask the board members to vote, please. That item has passed, Mr. Prescott. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your report. Are there any other matters for this committee this morning? Seeing none, then I will adjourn the Planning and Capital Program meeting minutes.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is 10:06, and I'd like to call the Operations and Safety Committee meeting to order. We have 4 items on our agenda today, 3 briefings, other matters, and the minutes. I'd like to start with the approval of the minutes. Folks could review those. Got a motion and a second. If there are no changes, let's vote on those. And I think we've got approval on those. Thank you for that. We'll go ahead and start with our briefings. The first one is the Rail and Streetcar KPIs quarterly briefing led by Paul Lopes, Chief of Operations and Urban Planning. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Chair Loke, Vice Chair Dr. Bolton Harris, CEO Hunt, DGM Allen, and members of committee. My name is Paul Lopes. I'm the Chief of Operations and Urban Planning, and I'm going to give you the briefing today on the rail and streetcar key performance indicators. We'll start with our safe KPIs, covering customer ratings for feeling safe from accidents on rail. This is the average customer rating for operators driving trains safely and an environment free of hazards on trains and in stations. In the last year, if you'll recall, we were looking at setting a target. Our target now is set at a goal of 8. The higher we perform, the better we are. We are currently at 7.56, which is a statistically significant increase from when we started tracking this KPI metric back in FY25 Q3. So we've done some progress, and not to let the cat out of the bag, but Adele will be here to give us a presentation on additional things we're doing for presence, which should help with the safety KPI as well. Customer rating for feeling safe from crime on rail. Again, there's an average customer rating of 6.54. There is no statistically significant difference between ratings from when we started a year ago and now. We've set our target of 8. We do have work to do here, and again, through the increased presence of staff at stations and in coordination with our MPD staff, we hope to continue to make strides here as well. Clean is going to be the focus of Adele's presentation. Customer ratings for rail service cleanliness include cleanliness on trains, in stations, around stations, restrooms, and elevators. We are currently at a 5.38 rating, which is below our target of 8. And as we've teased before and we're going to present today, you'll see the program we're rolling out, hopefully to improve our performance in this area. In the area of reliability, we have rail on-time performance, which measures how closely rail service runs to schedule. The departures from origin and arrival at destination stations are considered on time if they are no longer than 5 minutes after their scheduled time. We have a target here of 95%. The higher we get, the better we are. Currently at 93.2%. I will break down in the following slides the root causes of why we are at 92.2 and the different areas we're going to be focusing on to continue to reach our historic levels and also surpass our goal. Streetcar on-time performance measures how closely streetcar service runs to schedule. It measures the departures from origin and arrivals at destination stations that are longer than 5 minutes after the scheduled time. Our target here is 85%. We are performing above target. Our measure here is impacted by a number of reasons, inclusive of requests by other agencies, cities, to close the service. We run downtown during special events, during other issues that come up. Sometimes we have to suspend the service, so that has an impact. So we're probably trending where we were outside of the dip for the earlier Georgia Power fix. We're sort of trending around where we historically see ourselves. The rail mistrip rate is currently at 2.4%. Our target is 0.5%. In earlier presentations, I had explained how the rail mistrip rate and the on-time performance interact, so it's something we're tracking and we're trying to work on. As I mentioned a second ago, when we take a look at the breakdown during the FY26 fourth quarter in heavy rail, and we look at the reasons for missed trips or delayed trips, About 5,000 of the 68,000, or 7.3% of the 68,277 scheduled rail trips were delayed or missed in this quarter. 41% of those 5,000 trips were due to equipment-related incidents. This includes door fault, friction brake fault, air-related fault. We are doing everything we can to continue to maintain the fleet and continue to have it reliable and operational. I think we're doing a pretty good job given the state of the fleet, but we are continuing also to track progress on the CQ400s, and hopefully that'll improve fleet performance overall and mitigate some of the items we're seeing tied to our older cars. An additional 31% are due to staff-related incidents, no operator being available when they need to be there, operators leaving late from yard, either arriving late or having to shift from one location to the other, or not getting keyed up in time. We continue to work with HR in order to fill all the vacancies we have across their operator ranks, not just in heavy rail, but also in bus, to make sure that we have sufficient staff and sufficient spare board to address this issue and mitigate the lost trips and delays. 11% of the delays are due to passenger-related incidents. This includes bodily fluids, medical emergencies, slips, trips, and falls, and pulled door cords. MDP works with us to resolve those issues. We have maintenance, as I've mentioned earlier. We do inline, in-service maintenance. We do that from College Park to 5 Points, just to address cleanliness issues and resolve some of these wherever we can. And finally, 17% of the delays are due to other causes, which includes unauthorized persons in wayside fires, which Adele will speak to on how we're mitigating those. Lastly, I just want to take you to the streetcar mistrip rate. We are currently at 5.7%. Our target is 0.5%, and we are impacted by a number of reasons we've discussed in the past, including private vehicles afoul of our right-of-way, emergencies outside of our control, and requests to shut down service. So this is where we're trending. The customer rating for rail service reliability sits at 7.44%. It hasn't changed significantly since we started tracking this measure. We are looking at achieving an 8 or better, and the mitigations I mentioned a second ago are hopefully going to put us above our target. With that, conclude my briefing, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any questions for Paul? Mr. Hudson.
Mr. Lopes, remind me again, how do we do our surveys on this customer service, and what kind of sampling do we typically have? About how many people a month are we surveying to generate our numbers?
Rob's here, our expert on that, so I will defer to him because I can't keep those numbers. He's got a better idea. Here we go. Rob, go ahead.
Morning. So they're paper surveys, and we collect about 3,500 per quarter.
A quarter?
So over 1,000 a month.
Okay, thank you. But one additional question, so sampling of that size, is that average for a transit authority our size, or I'm just trying to figure out, because it can be skewed the more people we talk to, I would think.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to other agencies, how much they collect, but statistically, that's why we talk about whether statistically meaningful changes from quarter to quarter. So we can at least calculate that for ourselves.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I did have the opportunity to ride with one of Rob's researchers earlier this week while they were doing this. And it's a combination of electronic gathering and still some paper gathering, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who would prefer to engage with the paper items, and that's what this young lady was doing, and doing a great job of it. But more people, more surveys, versus diminishing returns.
So it has been paper. We're looking to moving towards tablet-based. So we're fortunate enough to be in some of that testing.
Mr. Zagave.
I heard you say paper, and I was thinking, do we have, and are we thinking about leveraging all these new apps that we've launched that are in the rider's hands? Obviously, it's a biased sample set, given who probably uses the app, but are we going to be able to leverage any of that going forward for surveys?
So the Reach app and the mobility app, the Ryco app, does collect feedback from customers. It'll ask them to rate their previous trip.
Yeah.
So we do have that. But that, to my knowledge, that's the only only app that we're leveraging at the moment.
I've
And-
just, oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was going to add, that has been one of the things I wanted to do in getting with both David and Emery and Rob as to how, when we finish these first few, as we, continue with our journey for the MARTA on the Go app, is allowing a push notification once a person has finished a trip, having them to complete a survey electronically after they've completed a trip, or again, we have incident reporting where people can report a specific issue, but maybe there's a button there for them also to enter, survey information. So I would like to work towards that. I think we just have to kind of talk about what that looks like and how to ensure that it's still a statistically valid method of collecting information.
All right, I've got 2.5 questions and no Diet Coke, so this is going to be sporty for everybody. Rob, don't go anywhere. One of these is for you. When we talk about, I guess the 2.5 questions, 2 of them are for you. The overall slides here talk about customer rating for feeling safe, customer rating for feeling safe from accidents, from crime, and then reliability. Is that a single question on the survey, or is that an aggregate of a couple questions?
It's generally an aggregate of, can be up to 7 questions. I think feeling safe is, for rail, it's feeling safe on the trains, feeling safe at the stations. I think that's it for that one.
Got it. So it's a combination of a couple
Yes.
questions that leads you to this. Okay.
Yes.
And then in my day job at Grady, we're focused, I guess, like every other hospital in the country, about patient family experience, and we do a very similar survey. It's 100 questions that goes through everything from did you feel comfortable coming into the ED to how did your nurse treat you to did you get your medication on time by the end of it. And part of that, the group that we use is called Press Ganey, and they give us a series of recommendations that help to drive improvement based on where our scores is. Like we know, for example, if we turn off the monitor alarms at night, patient experience scores go up because people can sleep through the night. Do we have similar kind of recommendations that, hey, if we look at doing this, our scores may improve? Does that make sense?
We have an action committee. It's a cross-functional group from across the authority that meets periodically to review these results and to discuss, insights like what's driving this, what can we do, to your point, to change, to improve these results. So yes.
Cool. Awesome. And then my half question for Paul, when does a delayed trip become a missed trip?
The delayed trip, it's within that 5 minutes. So if it becomes with greater than 5 minutes, it's delayed, and then what IOC can do is they can decide to cancel a trip. So what we had indicated before is you get that delay greater than 5 minutes, we can still run the trip, but we can keep doing that only for a few trips before the network starts getting too far behind. And so then what we'll do is we'll cancel a trip in order to reset schedule.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. So glad you were here.
Awesome. Any other questions for Paul or Rob before he sits down? You're good, Rob. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Next up, we're going to have a briefing on the Passenger Environment Program from Adele Perez, the Operations Program Manager. Adele, good morning.
Good morning. Chair Loke, Vice Chair Bolton Harris, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the Operations and Safety Committee. Let me make sure I got this right. May I direct your attention to agenda item number 3. This is a briefing on MARTA's Passenger Environment Program. The vision of this Passenger Environment Program is to create a more coordinated, proactive approach to passenger-facing cleaning, operations, and aligning station services, cleaning operations, transit hubs, bus shelter maintenance under one unified operational framework. Our focus is simple: to improve cleanliness, appearance, safety, and overall customer experience across all passenger-facing facilities. The program adopts the unified operational approach to focus on improving cleanliness, appearance, safety, and overall customer experience across all MARTA passenger-facing facilities. The program centralizes key operational functions under a coordinated structure to ensure consistent service delivery, accountability, and rapid response to customer and operational needs. This program supports daily operations, special events of all sizes, and long-term overall system appearance across rail stations, transit hubs, bell shelters, and surrounding passenger access areas. The program increases operational accountability, enhances coordination between internal teams and contractors, and utilizes technology and performance matrices to improve service daily. As shown on this slide, the Passenger Environment Program brings together station services, heavy cleaning, targeted cleaning, the EMT Adopt the Station program, MARTA Clean Sweep, Peak Period Post, and new to FY27, Transit Hub and Bus Shelter Cleaning and Landscaping. By aligning these functions, we are improving accountability, strengthening coordination, and delivering a high level of service to our customers. When we look at our station services team, they are responsible for the daily appearance and operational readiness of every rail station. Their responsibilities include station inspections, platform and concourse cleaning, graffiti removal, emergency response, and coordination with maintenance, capital programs, safety, and IOC to ensure our stations remain clean, safe, and welcoming. To further enhance this service, we are developing a 24-hour cleaning model. This initiative will expand visible daytime cleaning while maintaining overnight deep cleaning operations. It will improve response times to spills, biohazards, and customer concerns. To improve this coordination this will also improve the coordination between station services, targeted cleaning, and heavy cleaning teams. When we look at our heavy cleaning team, they continue to provide specialized services, including trackway cleaning, pressure washing, high-level dusting, escalator cleaning support, and emergency response emergency response activities requiring specialized equipment and overnight access. As you can see on this screen, this is a picture of the track over at Civic Center that was freshly delittered by the heavy cleaning team. Our targeted cleaning complements these efforts through a multi-vendor contract that provides scheduled deep cleaning to all of our stations every 30 days. This service includes pressure washing, concourse deep cleaning, sanitization of high-touch areas, and support for special events such as FIFA and other high-profile activities. This program allows us to maintain appearance standards while focusing additional resources on high-traffic and priority locations. One of the most significant enhancements to this program, as mentioned for FY27, is the Transit Hub and Bus Shelter Cleaning. This initiative will provide dedicated cleaning services to approximately 1,900 bus shelters and passenger amenities throughout the service area. With 2 new supervisors and 24 newly approved service persons operating across 2 shifts, we will significantly expand our presence in the field while improving responsiveness to customer concerns. It is important to note that MARTA is not responsible for every bus stop within the service area. Many of these locations are maintained through a collaborative effort between MARTA and the local jurisdiction. Under this program, MARTA will focus on cleaning and maintaining the passenger amenities for which they are responsible while continuing to coordinate with the local partners to address shared locations and ensure clean, safe, and welcoming environments for our customers. Under this program, we will have coverage from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. between 2 shifts. This allows crews to perform pre-service cleaning, visible daytime maintenance cleaning, litter control, graffiti response, and customer complaint response throughout the day. Our staffing model consists of 24 employees that will be split up into 12 crews of 2. We will have 10 crews operating each day. The structure allows shelters and amenity stops to receive scheduled service twice a week, with our BRT and hub stations receiving cleaning up to 3 times per week. The schedule also allows us to be flexible so that we are able to respond to operational priorities and customer requests. This map illustrates how we have separated each of our stops into 6 territories. Each territory is assigned an AM and a PM crew, providing consistent daily coverage. This geographic approach improves efficiency, reduces travel time, and increases accountability and ensures cleaner, more reliable customer experience across the service area. This is a sample of a weekly schedule. This schedule demonstrates how crews are assigned by shift, route, and territory. This structure schedule ensures every transit hub and bus shelter receives the appropriate level of service while maximizing our operational efficiency and resource utilization. Collectively, these initiatives represent a significant investment in the passenger experience by increasing visible cleaning, improving response times, expanding our transit hub and bus shelter program, strengthening operational coordination, and establishing measurable performance standards. We are creating a cleaner, safer, and more welcoming transit system for every MARTA customer. These initiatives are directly linked to our KPIs, allowing us to measure results, monitor progress, and make data-driven decisions that continuously improve service delivery across the system. In closing, the Passenger Environment Program positions MARTA to operate more proactively, improve accountability, enhance operational efficiency, and deliver a consistent, positive customer experience. As we continue to invest in our people, processes, and technology, we are building a transit system that our customers can rely on daily. Thank you for your continued support, and at this time, I'm willing to answer any questions.
So one anecdote, thank you, Ms. Perez, thank you, Mr. Thomas, and Mr. Lopes for your leadership in this area. This is one of those items, Member Hudson, where we've gotten comments from the public and our KPIs that then on surveys, and then we attack in terms of what we're going to change. As you all may remember, a lot of this cleaning around our bus shelters and some other areas were handled by a contractor under our advertising program. We weren't really happy with how well that was going. So we brought this in-house, and this is the results of that work and what you're going to be seeing deployed now. And we're really excited about it. And for our frontline staff, this is a particular bugaboo of mine because my very first job was as a sanitary engineer. So you can expect to see me out and about checking up on this. So thank you, Ms. Perez.
All right.
Del, thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions? Mr. Pond.
I've got a question about, we have station managers and then we have a manager in charge of, 4 or 5 stations, but they're accountable for these things getting done. How do we monitor these station managers to be sure that they're spending time paying attention to the performance of all of these things that need to go on to accomplish your program?
So one thing that we have been doing as far as what I think you're talking about our zone superintendents within the train stations, is that correct, Mr. Pond? And you want to know how we're keeping track?
No, I'm just
the
curious.
nomenclature may be
okay.
I'm just curious of
So we- so,
accountability,
yeah, with zone
accountability for the
superintendents,
cleanliness of the stations.
No, so
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
started from zone superintendents all the way
all
down
the way
to a
down. So
maintainer.
one thing that we do have, we have zone superintendents, and then we also have care supervisors, and then we have our maintainers within our stations. What we do is that we do station inspections regularly, and we do audit those locations to make sure that it's being done. As mentioned earlier, we have the EMT Adopt a Station program. So I know I've presented before, each of the EMT members here, along with directors and some managers, have adopted stations throughout the area. And they go through, they complete surveys on SurveyMonkey. We review those surveys, and we also take those into accountability, and those are forwarded to those zone superintendents, and it creates an extra layer of accountability. For example, we've had some complaints about some of the landscaping at some locations, Art Center in particular, and because of our EMT Adopt a Station program, along with the zone superintendent, we were able to get a lot of those things rectified. So we do have several layers that oversee those areas. I know Ms. Allen, Mr. Hunt, they also have stations, and they also are very engaged in those programs.
And just for the acronym, the EMT is Executive Management Team. So we have the C team and then the Executive Management Team, which is Mr. Lopes and Ms. Major, GMs, AGMs, directors, all of those individuals, so that you're clear on the acronym.
Mr. Frierson.
And thank you for the effort that y'all putting into the cleanliness. I think that is huge, because that's what people are their perception of MARTA lies in how well it looks when they step into the space. Just had a couple of questions. When I was at Vine City during the FIFA games, I noticed that the floor in that space was just as shiny as it is in number 2. And I don't know what they put down, but I think that is a wonderful appearance that we can have at some of our stations. And I know that it's something that probably wear a little bit, but that looking at the floor being that gloss on it, I think that really does set that, it would kind of set that station apart.
Thank you. And I always, when I first did, I'm glad you said that, because I got a lot of criticism where they're like, you doctored the picture up. And I said, no. I said, no. This is what it looks like after they clean, before the people come in. And that's the type of standard that we want to keep. That's the type of momentum that we're looking to keep at all of our passenger-facing facilities. So most definitely.
Excellent. Actually, it's wonderful. And one of the things I had mentioned in the past is, I think somehow, I don't know within this, that we have a way of communicating to our riders their responsibility to be good stewards of this space. And I just like to see more signage that talks about, this is your home, let's keep it clean. Or we have a little slogan in our community, drop down, pick it up, it's your community. Something positive like that in some of the spaces where we have the opportunity to communicate this to our riders, because they are the ones that have a responsibility to do this. And somehow we need to be able to connect them to this. But I'd like to see what you're doing, all right?
Thank you. And I would, to add to what you're saying, another part of this program, which we've been doing for a little bit over a year now, are the clean sweep events. Mm-hmm. And that's catering to that, because that involves not only our internal, but also our external. And a lot of the people who frequent those stations, we put the signage up, and we encourage them to sign up to come out to the clean sweep event and to come pick up litter around our stations as well. We will probably be expanding that to adopt a stop type of situation, and doing the same thing for our routes as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The criticism came from Ms. Allen and myself, so you can go ahead and say it, Ms. Perez. We better not be sending out any. And no, she said, come on out with me, and proved it. And then there was another box on slide number 3 that's not on there that we actually asked Ms. Perez to take off, because we're still in a work in process, but it's a Keep MARTA Beautiful, directly to your point. But that will be coming. Since it wasn't fully baked, we didn't want to put it on the slide.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Zagave.
This is just a thought, and it's not a recommendation, but I was recently in New York, and I really appreciated in their stations, like, they actually had a plaque for who the station manager was with a picture of them, and like maybe a little bit of a statement. But I thought it was a nice touch to, one, personalize the station for the rider experience. 2, like, public ownership is another thing. Like, I feel more accountable, I feel more ownership when my face is literally in the station. And then 3rd, they did this, and I don't know if you want to go this far, they also had a contact information, like a phone number. Like, I'm sure they figured out that system of a specific cell phone that each person has for this reason, because I'm sure it gets inundated, but just creating that line of communication along with the visibility. I just thought it was a really nice touch, and something worth considering as we're thinking about ownership and accountability, visibility, all that.
That's definitely something we can add.
At some stations? Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Sorry.
I've seen it
Okay.
listed.
So it's there.
We have. So one thing to what you said, as far as for the zone superintendents, which are technically over those zones within that station, we do have zone boards with their picture and their personalized contact email and contact phone number for this. So you can contact or email them directly if you have a question or an idea of what needs to be done within the station within those zones.
That's great to hear. I'll keep my eyes peeled. I have not
Yes.
noticed it.
All right.
Ms. Bolton Harris.
Okay, thank you. Just
great presentation. Appreciate the effort that's going into it because I think it makes a difference and adds to the safety appeal. Is there any QR codes at the bus stops or even on the trains that says if you have an area that's dirty, send, like at the airport, when you go to the restroom, it's like, the little smiley face is like, if you press it, it triggers somebody to go there. I know there's going to be a cadence of cleaning there, but just in case that there's something, or even in the trains, when you report, I know you're reporting on the app, but is there somewhere just to press a button, something easy that somebody can say, hey, there's some trash that needs to be addressed?
No, but I know we have QR codes for our customer surveys, but not for necessarily cleanliness. But the surveys also, you can also say if there's a cleaning issue or concern you have in the station.
I mean, just like in a trash can, like a QR code, like, do I need to be emptied? Click here is something that's more targeted versus me having to go through multiple prompts. And those QR codes could be designated for that particular location so that when it comes up, you know exactly where to go.
I appreciate that. We can definitely look into that. Thank you.
Del, one last question for you. You mentioned somewhere in your presentation that the cleanliness of the bus stops is split between the jurisdictions and MARTA in some cases. How many bus stops of the thousands that there are MARTA's exclusive responsibility to maintain versus a combination of the jurisdiction and MARTA, or just the jurisdiction?
So what I did, I included, so we have, including the BRT stops, we have 1,933, including the A-line, and also that's including the hubs, so the end of the line, parking rides. What I did is I included all that in our count. So we probably have, I think so far I have about 250 that they were saying are supposed to be. So we're trying to renegotiate and have those conversations with the jurisdiction and actually find a document that originally said that, or did we do a handshake type of thing? But we definitely are going to re-engage with those relationships. But I went ahead and included all of those in our cleaning system currently, prior to.
It would seem to me the general public is likely unaware that there is some jurisdictional responsibility for the MARTA bus shelter. If I go to a bus stop in Clayton County and I see it's dirty, I'm going to assume that it's MARTA's responsibility to clean that, when it may in fact be Clayton County's responsibility to clean that. So I guess you just said that you're going through trying to identify who's on first with all 1,933 bus stops.
Yes, and one reason we went ahead and put them all in our schedule is because we know it says MARTA.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's still our obligation, because it says MARTA, to go ahead and take care of it while we renegotiate those relationships and talk and have those conversations.
Fantastic.
Versus a number, a rule of thumb is, if it's in the public right of way, it should be hit more than just by MARTA, as a rule of thumb.
Ms. Galitza.
Yeah, just a quick question. I was looking at the sample schedule. Are there, I would imagine, and I know I see it, certain stops that, bus shelters that have a lot more, let's say I see trash, let's say, for example. And I don't know specifically who's responsible for the trash removal, but is there any thought about frequency changes based on the busyness of the stop? I mean, I would imagine we've got the data on how many people are getting on and off at a certain stop.
Yes. So that's why I put in there, we have the flexibility. So under the original contract for Outfront, we said that we were going to service these stops twice a week. So where Outfront was supposed to. So I think right now, because of how everything is doing, we've been doing it once a week. So we're going back to doing it twice a week under this program. But of course, as you mentioned, some of them need to be done more. So we created the flexibility, or also when we have those shelters where someone may have moved in, or we have graffiti we have a secondary team that will be able to go in to spend more time than the 7 to 8 minutes that's allowed for them to spend more time to take care of those issues. And I think that's what you're asking. And if we need to make adjustments to do an additional trash run at a specific location, we have the flexibility within our schedule, because we have a separate group that will be able to address those concerns.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Ms. Jones.
Yep. Sorry to keep up with this garbage conversation, but in a couple of walk audits have seen that around multi-family housing units that the trash picks up more. So I would just potentially suggest that there's a more frequent trash pickup, because in talking to residents, what is happening is that people are using the trash bins at the MARTA stops as the dumpster instead of the dumpster at their unit, especially if they're having issues with the property management at that particular location and they're not getting their trash picked up in a timely manner. So just a suggestion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, Adele, this was a really exceptional presentation. Thank you for bringing
Thank you.
it to us today. Last briefing that we've got on the agenda is maintenance and rehab performance briefing led by Daniel Heck, Deputy Chief of Maintenance and Rehabilitation. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, Chair Loke, Vice Chair Bolton Harris, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the board. I'm Daniel Heck, the Deputy Chief of Maintenance and Rehabilitation. Today I'll be giving you a performance briefing on bus maintenance and introducing some new MARTA team members to you all. And this is a PowerPoint, I believe, because there's a video. Is that pulled up? All right, here we go. Many of you will remember that we launched a bus operational excellence program about a year ago, focused on delivering safe, clean, reliable, and efficient bus transit for our customers. Today I'll be giving you an update on the maintenance initiatives and improvements around this program. These are the major focus areas for operational excellence in bus maintenance. Early in the process, we implemented daily service delivery meetings for our operations and maintenance personnel, aligning the overall mission and goals of each yard with our customer expectations regarding service quality. Throughout the initiative, we've engaged and partnered with ATU, incorporating their feedback on changes and implementing solutions based on their input, such as standardizing shifts and focused on part availability and maintenance training. Workflow realignment began in November of 2025, and through an extensive process of analyzing shifts and schedules, service processes, and production flow, the maintenance team came up with a workflow that transforms the way we service vehicles and ensure equipment availability. This was a top-down approach, starting with changes in how the supervisors, planners, and engineers support value-added work on the rolling stock. In late winter, we introduced the pull-in process, which redefined the level of service each bus receives at the end of the shift, and there's more to come on that in the next slides. We are revamping our preventative maintenance programs, focusing on preventative tasks and tailoring the PM schedule based on industry norms and improvements in reliability. These include changing checklists with clear expectations on bus condition before release to service. Similarly, we've revised SOP, standard operating procedures, to ensure vehicles are maintained in a safe condition and meet operator expectations for safety, operability, and cleanliness. We've conducted blitzes on 2 high failure items, the coolant system and the HVAC, or heating and air conditioning system, with positive results to each campaign. And we are setting up contracts and tackling part availability, obsolescence, and other supply chain challenges. I mentioned the pull-in process. This is how it used to look, and the board may remember this slide from a few months ago. Buses would pull into the yard at the entrance, go through the fare vault, would park in the main parking lot. Then at some point during the evening, a service person would find the vehicle, take it back down to the fueling and cleaning islands, and repark the vehicle. There was no clear handoff between the operator and maintenance staff, and no clear production flow to the servicing of vehicles at night. And here's a photo showing the new process. The blue line is the bus pulling in and having the fare box vaulted. The green line shows the flow through the handoff between the bus operations and maintenance department. There's a clear handoff between the operator and maintenance staff so that they can see what's wrong with the vehicle before it's serviced. The yellow line shows the flow through the fuel island and cleaning, and the red line shows the bus is either A, parked in the parking lot, ready for service the next morning, or B, pulled directly into the maintenance shop so minor defects can be fixed. And just note that yellow star at the top. This drone video I'm going to show next, you're going to be looking in the direction of that yellow arrow. So here's the pull-in process. You'll see the line of buses on the top left. They're getting their fare boxes dumped. By the way, this is sped up 10 times, so our buses are not like speeding through the lot. The operator pulls forward. If there's a backup at the island where those 4 or 5 vehicles are showing at the top, they park the vehicles along the southern fence line in the video, and then they're serviced later. This next vehicle is going to pull forward after having its fare box vaulted. They will meet a maintenance staff with the flashlights. We actually got them the airline little tools as well for safety. And then they pass off the vehicle. They talk about what went well with the vehicle, how it worked, does it need any specific cleaning, etc. Every service person has a assigned work area responsible for cleaning, fueling, servicing, washing, parking, etc. So there's a very clear, defined flow process to this. You'll see on the top left, there's a few vehicles that exited the bus wash. They're pulling off to the left of the screen to be parked. And it's a little bit of a walk at Perry, so we actually have a little shuttle bus for them that will pick up the operators, pull them back down to the fuel island so that the whole process can restart. This really kicks off about midnight every night and runs for a few hours just nonstop as buses pull in. We can go to the slides again, please. I'm not going to go into specifics here, but this is an example of a new dashboard developed in the last 12 months that focus on data-driven metrics we use to identify improvement in our bus system. This dashboard focuses on repeat problems by vehicle type, by yard, by symptom, etc. And this is so we can target problematic vehicles and ensure they have the requisite maintenance performed and validated before they are returned to service. A lot of information here, and we have dozens of these dashboards. So here's a graph showing the outcomes of some of these initiatives. We track labor hours, but we designate certain tasks as direct labor, accounting for work orders on the equipment. Now, don't get too focused on the percent of direct labor on the left-hand column, as direct labor measurements are really a bellwether of how efficiently we're using EAM, or Enterprise Asset Management, to accurately track and measure work performance. The key here, though, is that as direct labor increases, you see our overtime spend decreases, showing substantial improvement in efficiency of our work processes. And the slight increase in overtime, shown by the blue bar graph in April and June, is really due to bus network redesign and World Cup. We provided 30 additional bus vehicles for every World Cup event. Lastly, the metric most of you are familiar with is MDBF, or mean distance between failure, measured in miles. Our goal is 7,500 miles, and we have seen a drop in MDBF from 2024 to current, but through these initiatives, we're starting to see improvements and increases in MDBF over the past few months with these new processes taking root, taking shape. As with any major change, we expected and saw a drop during implementation, and this three-phase approach does follow industry norms for major change initiatives and operations. That concludes the bus maintenance briefing, and now I'll take just a few moments to give a very high-level overview of the maintenance and rehab department and introduce some new team members to you all. First, a huge thank you to our frontline workers for their dedication and efforts in helping MARTA deliver exceptional service for the World Cup. Many of the 1,000 plus men and women in the maintenance and rehab department work on things that you all will never see. Their equipment and infrastructure that's otherwise hidden behind closed doors, but nonetheless vital to MARTA serving our customers, our riders, and our guests. And I'll start by thanking our frontline representative workers for the 24/7, 365 days that they support us keeping things running. These are EP&E and track department personnel shown in these photos. It is my privilege to introduce a new team member to MARTA, Jessica Jordan. She is the new Director of Bus Maintenance. Jessica joined us right in the thick of World Cup just a few weeks ago and comes to us from CTA in Chicago, Illinois, where she spent 13 years in progressive responsible roles in the rail and bus maintenance departments. She has extensive experience in budgeting, management, process optimization, and fleet maintenance activities. She brings to us a wealth of knowledge in bus maintenance, and she will be taking the reins of the initiatives that I just spoke about, ensuring continuous improvement in how we deliver quality service. She is a U.S. Army veteran, serving as a diesel mechanic and vehicle recovery specialist, and has a Bachelor of Science in Business Management. Next, for the new board members, I'd like to introduce to you Addie Matthew. He is the Director of Maintenance of Way. Addie has been with MARTA for 26 years, working in progressively responsible roles within the Automatic Train Control Department and ultimately into the Director role, where he is responsible for all the stuff that keeps our trains running. And just some examples of that, here's a slide on electric power and equipment. The top left shows some of our breakers. Those are the size of washing machines, so they're not the breakers you have in your house. They do everything from servicing 23,000 volt AC electricity that comes in to power our trains to quite literally changing light bulbs in our stations and everything in between. The track and structures team, they keep us on the rails quite literally, both the ballasted track and the direct fixation track, and run many of our programs and respond to issues like trees falling across the wayside. Lastly, our automatic train control. Here's some photos of the equipment that they do, from many, many thousands of electromechanical relays shown on the left to maintaining our lights and our switch machines shown in the other two photos. Keith Chambers is our Director of Vertical Transportation, where his team manages 150 escalators and 115 elevators. Keith has worked in the vertical transportation industry since 1994. And here at MARTA, he's responsible for our elevator and escalator rehabilitation program, which has been instrumental in providing reliable, accessible transportation throughout MARTA stations, including the elevators you all probably took up here today. And these photos, especially the one on the right, really shows how important these escalators are to moving massive, massive amounts of people during World Cup and every one of our events. Sean Thomas is our Director of Facilities. He has 28 years of experience at MARTA, working in a variety of roles, dealing with HVAC, buildings, equipment, facilities, and I can't understate how important Sean and his team are in keeping our equipment up and running, from replacing tiles in stations to dealing with major pumps in our train washes to keeping doors on their hinges, gates working, dealing with plumbing, landscaping, and a myriad of building activities, including here at headquarters. I like to say if it doesn't have wheels and it's not something I mentioned under Keith or Addie's group, Sean's team deals with it, including taking the reins over many of the bus shelter cleaning activities over the past few months, as Adele, as she spoke about, is standing up that program. And lastly, it's my pleasure to introduce the newest member of the MARTA team, Ken Abushon. He is the Director of Rail Maintenance, started with us 2 weeks ago. Ken joins us from Boston MBTA, where he has worked since 2003 in progressively responsible roles within the maintenance departments, including the Director of Rail Maintenance for their heavy rail division. It's interesting that Ken may be one of the only transit managers in the country that had the privilege of working at 2 World Cup host cities. So he helped Boston complete their World Cup activities, came here and helped us with the finale here in railcar maintenance, jumped right in the thick of it. In some ways, Ken is coming home, as he worked as a technician here at MARTA in the late 90s through the early 2000s, and Ken is a U.S. Navy veteran. With this team, we will continue to provide safe, clean, and reliable, efficient transportation to our patrons throughout Atlanta. Thank you all for your time, and I'll take any questions you have.
Thank you, Daniel. Mr. Hunt.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I just want to say that our 2 newest members in rail car maintenance, and in bus did complete their transit ambassadorships as well. So,
Nice.
Ms. Galitza.
First off, I just wanted to say thanks again for this entire team, but for everybody on the front line doing the hard work every single day. I just had a question, and it's very general, about, you know, from an overall group, how do we make sure that the technicians and the people that are out in the front line every day feel empowered to make the right decision? I know we're going to measure metrics. I know we're going to measure safety and things like that, and I feel like you've got a good process in place. But how do you best do that balance of, right, they're trying to meet a productivity number, but they also need to feel comfortable raising their hand and saying something's not right? How do you work on that culture?
That's a great point. Everybody in the maintenance and rehab department, they really are subject matter experts in what they do, and we defer as a management team. We defer to their expertise. We defer to them when it comes to safety issues. We defer to them when it comes to productivity issues. We work very closely with ATU through our DSQA, our joint health and safety committees that we address any concerns. But some of this equipment, like the ones I'm showing here, it's extremely old, and I go to our labs and talk with our employees, and they talk about what they do and how they keep this 40-year-old electromechanical equipment running, and just, it's a miracle, to be blunt. So it's our job as management to encourage them, to empower them, to give them the tools and resources needed, and that's the charge that we have, is to support them so that they really add the value, right? We support them in a lot of ways. They keep this equipment running, and it's our job to make sure they have the parts, the tools, the training needed so they can do a good job, and to ensure that they feel valued and appreciated. As part of this post-World Cup stuff, as we wind things down, myself, Paul, this management team, we're going to spend a considerable amount of time out in the field doing town halls 24/7, meeting with the night crew, making sure they hear from us how appreciated they are. Also, I want to hear their direct feedback on what works, what doesn't work, and how we can continue to drive improvements.
Ms. Bolton Harris.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and welcome to the newest team members. As far as the process change, what are the frontline teams commenting about the per-yard adjustments? Are they liking it, or any feedback from them at this point?
Yeah, quite a bit of feedback. It's very well received. The greatest compliments we get are from the bus operators. Before, they would have a kind of a service card, and they'd check off what worked on the bus and what didn't work, and it went in a mailbox, and it was a bit of a black hole. Now they actually have dialogue every night. So the operators are seeing improvements in the bus cleanliness. Things are getting fixed quicker. Our maintenance staff, they appreciate the structure, and they appreciate the guidance, along with the additional tools and stuff that we've got for them.
Good, thank you.
It's challenging. Like any big change, it's challenging, but the positive outcomes are coming now, and everybody sees that, and they're excited about it.
Daniel, how many folks are in the maintenance and rehab?
On the books, it's over 1,100 FTEs, so about 1,000 people between bus maintenance, rail car maintenance, maintenance of way, et cetera.
How many total FTEs is MARTA? So,
Sorry. We have about 4,400 employees total.
so a quarter of the authority is up under maintenance and rehab.
Correct. Yeah, the largest group is under Dwana Brown, the bus operators. That's I think that's the largest single department within our operating group, followed by the maintenance and rehab department.
You touched on this a little bit, and this is kind of pure commentary at this point, but these are the folks that the general public is probably never going to see, nor is never going to understand the relays and the switchgear and everything that goes into this. Amongst everybody at MARTA that did an absolutely tremendous job during World Cup and helping to deliver and keep the train on time. I was going to use land the plane, but that's not going to work for this analogy. I want to thank you and your team for really landing the plane and keeping the train on time here, because I got to imagine the work that was put in both prior to World Cup and during World Cup by your team in particular, again, not negatively impacting anybody else within the organization, but your team in particular, led to MARTA having the success that MARTA did. So thank you guys for what you do. With that, I think we can let Daniel and the team get back to work. We have one other matter that's in the briefing book, the FY26 May KPIs for information only. Oh, Ms. Jones. Sorry.
Nope, I just have another matter after you're done with the briefing. Yeah.
You're up.
All right, Jonathan, do you have an update about Rapid A Line and the Red Bull F1 race? Ms. Caitlin Behringer came and did a public comment about it last week with concern about the operations and safety behind the race and what's going to happen with the project timeline, as well as what will happen with service times, and as well as what will happen with our equipment and infrastructure on the site.
It's a great question, and I do. We were both at the APTA board and administrators meeting this past weekend, which was great. But during that time, there was a group meeting with the promoters that DGM Allen, among many other MARTA personnel, was attended. So I'm going to let Ms. DGM Allen, there's an internal working memo that we're working up. But Ms. Allen, because you were actually on the Rapid A Line at that meeting.
Yeah, so what, if the event goes on as planned now, it would be about a 7-day reroute for the Rapid A lines. We wouldn't have to shut the line down fully, but it would be reroutes around that area. We are preparing a memo that outlines the impacts to MARTA and the Rapid A line to submit to the Atlanta DOT and to ask for certain assurances that we will be able to protect our infrastructure and then have the right to be compensated should there be delays above what has been anticipated now, and for the cost of the reroutes and construction delay as a result of this. So we're still working on our response, but we expect to send that over today to the City of Atlanta for their consideration.
And are you requesting that any recompense be directly paid to MARTA, or will you have to go through the city?
You know, let me be honest, I haven't gotten that far into how, is there a method for how, because it'll be through
the procedure. We're looking at it, but yes, definitely. recompense.
And then just one more thing that I want to bring up is, I am not a lawyer at all. Jonathan, I know you have this handled, but I am concerned about their application where where Red Bull offered how they will return the street back to its original state, and basically it amounts to them cleaning up the skid marks. And I think that we need to make sure that they're aware that it needs to be more than that.
That issue was brought up in the meeting. I listened in to the meeting, but that was discussed last Friday.
Thank you.
Are there any other matters that need to come before the committee? If not, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Good morning. It's 11:08. We'll call the External Relations Committee meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes from May 28th, 2026. Do we have a motion? Can we get a second? Is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, okay. Motion approved. All right, next we'll have a post-FIFA World Cup briefing from Chinette Kanita, Senior Director, Marketing and Sales.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Chair Jones, Vice Chair Hardage, Interim CEO Hunt, Deputy General Manager Allen, and members of the committee. I'm Chinette Kanita, Senior Director of Marketing and Sales. Today, I'm here to provide a recap of our FIFA World Cup marketing efforts, including results to date through the end of June and early July. So as you know, this campaign gave MARTA a major opportunity to welcome the world to Atlanta, showcase the system, support riders, and reinforce MARTA as the safe, clean, reliable, and convenient way to move around the city. I'll walk through the campaign overview, key marketing channels, partnerships, and promotions, standout moments, revenue opportunities, and how we plan to sustain this momentum into FY27. The focus today is what we executed, what performed well, and how this work positions us beyond the World Cup. So our campaign centered around 3 connected messages: less traffic, more soccer, welcome to Atlanta, and let MARTA drive. The strategy was simple: make MARTA feel like the easiest and most natural choice for getting around during the tournament. For residents, the message was about avoiding traffic and parking. For visitors, it was about making Atlanta easier to navigate. And for fans, it connected MARTA to the excitement and energy of the World Cup. I also want to give a quick shout out to Dwight Smith and Stephanie Lerner, pictured here, for designing the soccer-inspired MARTA jerseys. They became one of the most unexpected campaign standouts, with people asking to buy them right off our backs. That really happened to me. So our dedicated World Cup landing page launched on March 12th and served as the central hub for the campaign, giving visitors and residents one place to find trip planning, fare, safety, accessibility, and match day information. From March 12th to July 1st, the page generated more than 35,000 page views with an average visit duration of 38 seconds, nearly double the average visit duration for our homepage. We also saw strong demand across our broader rider information technology in the 2 weeks since June 8th. MARTA's website and app traffic reached 1.7 million page views, roughly triple the prior 2-week period, and engagement time doubled to 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And also, just to add, the new MARTA on-the-go app is also showing early positive movement. So here, this is our landing page, along with our app and rider information tools, were designed to be a simple and useful, especially for first-time riders. The goal was to make it easier for people to plan their trip, understand how to pay, and feel more confident using MARTA during a high-demand event period. It also gave us one place, excuse me, to send people from ads, social media, emails, and partner communications. Our print and digital placements generated approximately 2.5 million impressions as of July 1st. We placed the campaign in Atlanta Magazine, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Discover Atlanta Now, Rough Draft, Atlanta In Town, and Georgia Voice. This helped us reach a strong mix of audiences: residents, visitors, downtown workers, hospitality audiences, neighborhood readers, and diverse communities across the region. So here, Atlanta Magazine helped us connect MARTA to the broader Atlanta experience. This placement reached residents and visitors looking for things to do and places to go and ways to experience the city during the World Cup season. Discover Atlanta Now was especially valuable because it reached visitor and hospitality audiences. Through this placement, MARTA was included in the broader welcome message for the city, positioning transit as part of the Atlanta visitor experience. These publications helped us stay connected to local and neighborhood audiences. They also helped reinforce the World Cup was not just a visitor event, it was an Atlanta moment, and MARTA was a part of that story. Our mobility campaign ran from May 11th through June 28th. It delivered more than 2 million impressions and generated more than 5,700 clicks. That shows the message was relevant and that people were engaging with MARTA's World Cup content. This slide shows examples of that mobile creative. The ads were designed to be clean, direct, and easy to understand quickly. The goal was to connect people to MARTA's World Cup message and drive them to helpful trip planning information. Our digital billboard campaign gave MARTA strong visibility across the region. From May 11th through June 28th, the campaign included 54 digital displays, more than 713 delivered spots, and approximately 31.6 million impressions. These placements helped keep MARTA top of mind along major corridors and in high traffic areas throughout the market. And here's just a snapshot of what these look like. So these slides show the campaign creative in market. The message was intentionally simple: less traffic, more soccer, and let MARTA drive. So for outdoor advertising, the message needs to land quickly, and these placements helped connect MARTA to convenience, even event access, and Atlanta pride. We also expanded the campaign through broadcast, streaming TV, streaming audio, paid social, and digital display. Together, these channels generated more than 3 million impressions through July 1st, including approximately 244,000 from 11 Alive, 2.8 million from Telemundo, and 2,200 from the Delta Airlines live TV test. Each channel helped us reach people in a different way: local residents, Spanish-speaking audiences, regional viewers, digital audiences, and travelers arriving in Atlanta. The 11 Alive Atlanta and Company segment gave us an opportunity to tell the story in a more conversational way. We were able to highlight MARTA's World Cup readiness, help riders understand what to expect, and reinforce MARTA as a key part of Atlanta's event transportation plan. The traffic sponsorship was a strong fit because traffic was one of the biggest concerns during the tournament. By placing MARTA within traffic reporting, we positioned the system as a practical solution at the exact moment people were thinking about congestion, parking, and travel time. Telemundo helped us reach Spanish-speaking and regional audiences connected to the World Cup through streaming TV, audio, targeted display, and paid social. This was important because the tournament brought a broad international audience, and we wanted MARTA's message to reach more communities in a relevant way. I'll now show the English version of the World Cup video used across the campaign.
Today, I'll let MARTA drive. Out there, traffic is a nightmare. One tap, and we're on our way. The city goes by, while we just enjoy the ride. Today is the game, the one you never forget. We made it, safe, and that goal is already ours. Let MARTA drive.
Thank you. Delta Live TV gave us a chance to reach travelers before they even landed in Atlanta. This was a small test pilot, but strategically important. It introduced MARTA to visitors during their inbound flight and gives us insight into future airport and major event advertising opportunities. We also used the Telemundo-produced video for this campaign. So the World Cup also created new revenue opportunities for MARTA. There has been $666,000 in total revenue generated to date. The following results show how major events can support brand building and revenue growth. World Cup advertising generated approximately $588,000. This revenue was driven by high-value advertising connected to the tournament and our Tier 1 stations. It reinforces the value of MARTA's system as a visible platform for major brands during major global events. Our MARTA-only soccer collection has generated more than $28,000 in total sales. That is a strong early indicator that customers respond to MARTA merchandise when it connects to the culture, to pride, and a major moment in the city. The SEC District merch pop-ups generated approximately $22,000 in sales across 4 match days in June and July. These pop-ups gave us a chance to engage directly with the writers and fans in the system. Also, our partnerships played a major role in extending the reach of the campaign. Our work with the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau helped connect MARTA to the broader visitor experience and summer tourism strategy. And our Voice of MARTA partnership with Big Boy helped bring the campaign message to life in a way that felt authentic to Atlanta. Together, these partnerships helped ensure MARTA was included in the citywide message about how Atlanta welcomed the world. This ACV partnership supported visitor education, hospitality outreach, and promotion tied to the Discover ATL Hop and Ride Cultural Shuttle Program. It included visibility through 10 key downtown Belly Bend locations and helped connect MARTA to the free hop-on, hop-off culture shuttle experience. It also showed the value of working with civic and tourism partners to amplify MARTA's message beyond our own channels. One of the standout moments of the campaign was our collaboration with Big Boy of Outkast. This brought the Welcome to Atlanta and Let MARTA Drive message to life in a way that felt authentic to the city. The campaign included station and train announcements, advertising and social media, cross-promotion. It allowed us to reach people inside the system and online while giving MARTA a voice that felt local, memorable, and culturally relevant. And now I'll play the audio from that campaign that's now playing in the stations.
Hello, it's Big Boy, and welcome to Atlanta and aboard MARTA. Let MARTA take you to all the FIFA World Cup action happening across the city. Getting around is simple. Just tap your credit card, debit card, or mobile wallet at the fare gate, and you on your way. For matches at Atlanta Stadium or fan festival events at the Georgia World Congress Center, exit at the SEC District or Vine City stations. If you're headed downtown for celebrations, accessing the streetcar, or visiting Centennial Olympic Park, use 5 Points, Peachtree Center, or Garnett stations. MARTA connects you to events, restaurants, nightlife, and hotels across Midtown, downtown, and Buckhead, and provides direct access to and from the airport. To plan your trip, refer to a rail map or visit itsmarta.com. If you need assistance or notice something concerning, please seek out MARTA police officer, transit ambassador, or any MARTA employee. They are here to help. Enjoy your ride, stay safe. And remember, respect our city, respect MARTA, and respect each other. Respect it. Thank you for riding with us.
Thank you. All right. This campaign moment helps MARTA show up as a part of Atlanta's identity, not just as transportation, but as part of the city's culture. For visitors, it was a welcome. For residents, it was a point of pride during a moment when the city was on the world stage. And for MARTA, it gave us a strong bridge into the future customer education and Ride with Respect messaging. Now we'll play the Welcome to Atlanta video.
What's up, it's Big Boy, a.k.a. Daddy Fat Sacks, a.k.a. Sir Lucius L. Left foot. The L stand for lavender because the ladies like to put lip gloss on my lapel. Welcome to Atlanta. Gee.
All right. He's very Atlanta. So Atlanta. All right. Across all campaign channels, total reach today is approximately 38.5 million impressions as of June 28th. That includes digital display, streaming TV, streaming audio, paid social, YouTube, out of home, transit advertising, print, digital publications, and email. We were everywhere, y'all. This shows the scale of the campaign and the value of using a multi-channel strategy to keep MARTA visible before, during, and after the tournament. So as we move beyond the World Cup, the focus is on sustaining that momentum. This campaign strengthened our marketing infrastructure, expanded partnerships, created new revenue opportunities, and gave us valuable performance data. The next step is to build on that visibility and continue telling MARTA's story in a proactive way. Our FY27 priorities focus on 3 areas. First, drive measurable ridership growth by keeping MARTA top of mind through always-on campaigns, service promotions, major event messaging, and rider engagement. Second, strengthen brand reputation and customer trust by telling MARTA stories through Ride with Respect, customer education, employee voices, community leaders, and cultural partnerships. And third, expand revenue opportunities through bus shelter advertising, sponsorships, advertiser relationships, new categories, and continued merchandise growth. The World Cup gave us a moment, and our focus now is turning that moment into sustained momentum. So this campaign really helped MARTA show up in a strong, visible, and culturally relevant way during one of Atlanta's biggest moments. We reached riders, residents, visitors, fans, and partners through a mix of digital, paid media, partnerships, merchandise, and cultural storytelling. And we still have additional results to analyze, but early performance shows strong visibility, strong engagement and ridership, and real opportunities to build on this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Any questions or feedback? Ms. Galizia?
Yeah, hi. Great job with the overall campaign. I was just curious, did we leverage or do we have plans upcoming to leverage any local influencers?
We do.
Okay,
We do. I'll call it MARTA storytelling. So we do have something in the works with
That's
that.
great.
Mhm.
I just happened to see a guy the other day talking about, how great MARTA was, and he hadn't ridden it a whole lot in the past, and it hit me that.
Yeah. More
So
to
I'm
come.
glad to hear you're doing it.
More to come on that.
Great.
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Frierson?
Yeah, great job. It was so exciting to see MARTA across all the media, and all eyes was on Atlanta and MARTA. So excellent job. All of the things that we put in the station on the FIFA and all of the advertising, is that going to remain in place for a little while?
There's a group that is talking about. Are you referring to the wayfinding?
Yeah, the wayfinding.
Yes,
and all
yes, and beautification. Yeah, there's a group that's talking about that now around what stays and what we get rid of, and so we're making those decisions very soon.
that. Well, it's wonderful to see that in the transit station. It just complements all that we do. Your organization did a great job, and with the leadership also. Thank y'all, man. We were on the stage just for the world, so we did an excellent job. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions, feedback? Jeanette, did you all have a projection for anticipated revenue from World Cup?
We didn't have I won't say we had a projection, but we were hoping to get as many FIFA sponsors as possible, and I think that we met the number that we anticipated. We had about 7 or so FIFA sponsors that did advertise with us, and so our goal is to hopefully turn that into a longer term opportunities with advertising.
Okay. Great job. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have a briefing for March through June media impressions with Stephanie Fisher, Senior Director, Communications.
Good morning, Chair Jones, Vice Chair Hardage, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, Mr. Parker, and members of the External Relations Committee. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm the Senior Director of Communications, and I'm here today to provide an overview of our media impressions for March through June of this year. In March, MARTA was mentioned in the news 1,700 times. Newsworthy items of the month included the launch of our MARTA Reach on-demand transit service and the go-live date for the Better Breeze fare payment system. The Communications Department sent out 10 press releases, including one detailing our service, safety, and personnel plan for the World Cup at the 100 Days Out mark. And we worked with the AJC on a feature on the MARTA Hope program that highlighted the humane way MARTA and our partners at Hope Atlanta address homelessness on the system. Social media posts about the Better Breeze system, including construction information, station access, and how to pay, were among the month's most popular, contributing to almost 3.3 million social media impressions. And this is up dramatically from February, which saw just about 600,000 social media impressions. This level of online engagement helps build excitement and counteract any negative headlines of the month, keeping our percentage of positive and neutral news coverage to over 90%. Coverage of construction projects at Peachtree Center and East Lake stations, along with educational efforts to ensure drivers stay out of the Rapid A Line's red bus only lanes, helped generate an advertising value equivalent, or AVE, of $61 million. April saw 1,950 news media impressions. Many of the 12 press releases sent during the month provided important customer information about the launches of the Next Gen Bus Network and the Rapid A Line. We saw a bump in positive news coverage with stories about the Better Breeze system installation at Airport Station being completed ahead of schedule and our incredibly affordable fares for World Cup. Other transit agencies were making headlines for raising fares to as much as $150, and we held steady at $2.50. April news stories were 95% positive and neutral in tone. Our educational efforts continued through April as the Better Breeze project advanced. We communicated important information to our reduced fare customers who had not yet received their new Breeze cards, and we debuted a virtual Breeze card in Google and Samsung wallets. We also partnered with the City of Atlanta to continue to spread the message to drivers to stay out of the Rapid A Line's bus-only lanes. All this news coverage resulted in $67 million in advertising value. In April, our social media platforms that include X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Nextdoor were once again active with over 3 million impressions. A collaborative post that we did with other transit agencies around the country celebrating Transit Employee Appreciation Week was the month's most popular. In May, we began to experience a season of heavy scrutiny and news coverage that included incidents of violent crime and customer frustration with our system projects. We sent out 13 press releases, resulting in 2,700 impressions and garnering $72 million in advertising value. Our communications efforts were focused on keeping our customers informed about project progress, status of any criminal investigations, and working to highlight the positive, including the completion of station rehabilitation at Indian Creek and the addition of the virtual Breeze card to Apple Wallet. From mid-May to the end of the month, news coverage intensified as the World Cup approached and our preparedness was questioned. We attempted to cut through that noise with targeted stories and social media posts with messages of readiness, affordability, and most importantly, safety. Our social media engagement dipped from April to a little over 2 million impressions, and despite headlines about continued lines for reduced fare Breeze cards and the potential delay in delivery of the new trains, the news coverage for the month was still over 90% positive and neutral. June was one of the most challenging months we've seen in years, during which we received the most news coverage and impressions since I began reporting out these metrics in 2017. The murder of a woman on a train at Oakland City Station and the subsequent federal investigation into system safety and security contributed to the 7,500 impressions. The shooting of a young man on a train at Midtown a week after the incident at Oakland City and widespread vandalism of our new fare gates drew intense criticism around safety and readiness for World Cup. We issued 16 press releases in June, including ones communicating the penalty for destroying fare gates and touting our high ridership as the World Cup progressed. June had a huge advertising value equivalent of $163 million, but a lower percentage of positive news stories, dipping below 90%. During this time of heavy scrutiny, the communications team flooded the zone, so to speak, with messages, images, and videos of increased policing and a focus on system security and customer safety. At every opportunity, we put Chief Crair in front of a reporter and pushed out communications on social media showing MPD officers on trains, platforms, and in stations. We were also able to pivot to include some positive and fun social media posts celebrating our partnership with Big Boy that Chinette brought to you, and telling fans where to pick up the hottest ticket in town, the World Cup branded Breeze cards. This online engagement resulted in 5.5 million impressions on social media, our most ever. The last 4 months have shown that our media partners and our social media users are vital in how we communicate with our customers and our stakeholders. And while they do hold us accountable, as they should, they can also be our biggest champions. I'm proud of how we've navigated this period, and I look forward to coming before you in the next few months to provide a complete overview of our World Cup communications efforts. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Stephanie. Are there any questions? Feedback? Mr. Pond?
I've just got one quick question. How do you identify 4,000 media comments, whatever? You talk about the numbers?
The impressions?
Impressions, correct.
That's how many times MARTA is mentioned in news stories.
How's that actually added? How do you get to that number is what I'm saying. What system do you, how do you track it? Put it together. Come up with the number.
Hold on now. We actually have a service that does that. So it sort of mines all of the news coverage and it pulls out how many times you're mentioned. So for whatever reason, it could be a positive story, it could be a negative story. It's just how many times is MARTA in the news and getting in front of people. With social media, it's engagement with it. It's viewing, it's commenting, liking, sharing, that type of thing. But with the traditional news media impressions, it is more how many times are we showing up in traditional news media.
Do you have a comment, DGM Allen?
I may be giving away free advertising that is incorrect, but I was going to ask you if it was Sprout Social that you used or if it was a different platform.
We use Meltwater for the traditional news media and Sprout Social for social media.
Thank you. Mr. Frierson?
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. It was wonderful to hear your voice also in the transit stations, reminding our riders of behaving well when it comes to how they deal with our fare gates.
Good.
And I think the signage was a big improvement in letting everybody understand the penalty of breaking our fare gates. And I'm hoping that we see some big improvements in that whole process. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hunt?
I didn't know if that was a question or, okay.
Thank you. I'm excited for the work you all have been doing, and I'm looking forward to how this will be strategized into that long-term momentum and really getting more proactive about the storytelling. I will say that in general, post-World Cup, there is still talk on social media about how Atlanta fared as a host city, and MARTA was integral to that conversation. So I applaud you all on the work that you did. And I will say, I've told Mr. Lopes this a couple of weeks ago, I have been spoiled by the 5-minute headways. So I would love to see that be part of our strategy. Any other questions or feedback, Mr. Hunt?
Just one on the fare gates. And I mentioned this last weekend. On the fare gates, yes, the damage is coming down. But more importantly, we're north of 50% in terms of arrests and have investigations out on many, many others. So we're not talking multiples of hundreds of damage to fare gates. But the bigger thing is MPD is always watching 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They do not stop and they will never stop. So you damage a fare gate, they're going to consistently and continually investigate and try to find you.
Any other questions for Stephanie? All right, seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.